It was created with Dr. Flora and Dr. Kennard, who's here taking pictures. And I would like to mention that we, Pataphysical Studios, are represented here by a small horde of pataphysicians, including Dr. Skids here, Dr. Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, Dr. Figurine, Dr. Reilly, and Dr. Kennard. So if I should, and myself, Dr. Fabio, if I should accidentally faint or something like that, you know who to talk to, and you can talk to them after the talk is over. So for the last 5 years, one of the most fulfilling experiences of my life has been working with these folks to create the pataphysical slot machine, which we call a poetic oracle. So tonight we're going to tell you about this bizarre work of art and why it has brought us together and keeps us coming back. I have some slides. Let's see if they work. Yeah, this is the pataphysical slot machine, featured at the Mill Valley Library. A bizarre, curious work of art that features the symbol of unity from Nepal, you often see on stupas, a giant throne, and behind 3 mysterious cabinets of curiosities, which contain wonder boxes, portals to magical worlds. And this is what it looks like when we open all the boxes inside. And people's jaws often drop. We've had people cry. We certainly have had people laugh. And generally speaking, we're all having a pretty good time with this damn thing. Here's an example of one wonder box that's called Baby Buddha. Here's some people interacting with a metaphysical plot device. Here's a happy family. I had to take their shot. They were just so happy. Everybody was having a good time. So suffice it to say that it seems that this weird contraption is bringing happiness in people's lives, as far as we can tell. It certainly has for us. Look at this one. The Om Shanti box. Yeah, you'll see that in the blue. And also, it's an incredible framework for collaboration. We are finding that not only is it a cool work of art, even if it's a little bit surreal for some people's taste, but it's also a way for us to come together and learn from each other and encourage each other to stretch ourselves beyond our comfort zones to become art makers. So, let's start with a little demo of the pataphysical slot machine. You see it here in the studio. This is where we've been building it for 6 years. And this is the video. I'll let it play for a moment.
The pataphysical slot machine is a community-created mechanism for combinatorial poetics. We are standing in front of the Pataphysical Studios, where the crew is hard at work in the art greenhouse. Here is the pataphysical slot machine. And when you're ready, click the red button for instructions from the future. Aggie Mob. Bill and his mom. That is cool. So now open any of the boxes in front of you for more instructions from the future.
Really? Okay.
Sometimes the sounds don't work, so we substitute theatrics. This box is by Dr. Skid.
Attention.
Oh, yeah.
Earthlings, do not panic. Other dimensions nearby.
Other dimensions nearby is the operating word.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Your attention into the potential dimension.
Ask Ubu for instructions from the future.
Mystifie, crazy, criminal.
Mystify, crazy
So
human.
that's your message for Lulu.
Mystify, crazy human.
Boxes. So I'm going to show you just a couple more wonder boxes that were created since this video was made, and then we'll start talking about what led to all this. So this one's called the Luck Wonder Box, and I'll just play the video again. This box was created by Dr. Truly, and the lights and the sounds are orchestrated by Dr. Reilly. And it was for Dr. Truly, for Stephanie, it was an important work of art because she was going through some important changes in her life, and she was able to express through this box some of the changes that were going on. We now have another box from two people who are here in the audience, Dr. Figurine and Dr. Kennard. They created together. You'll probably connect the dots and realize that they're mother and daughter. And neither of them had done any kind of electronics before. And a year later, this is what they made.
I can see into your mind's vast and troubled world.
The X-ray skull that lights up his eyes and moves his head back and forth. There's many more wonder boxes. I'm not going to show them all tonight, but if you go to our site, pataphysics.us, you'll be able to see more videos of what these boxes look like. But let's talk a little bit about the origins of this project. It all started in Dr. Reinbrain's art garden. We had done a lot of Burning Man exhibits with huge trucks and major effort, and we wanted to just do something close to home that would be smaller and where all of the boxes could fit in a Prius. So we designed this, fortune-telling contraption, which we later on gave the name of Pataphysical Slot Machine to. Initially it was like a wonder box, an E-chain with instructions for the future. And initially it was just the three of us. Freddie, who's in the back, Howard and myself. But lo and behold, many more people came in. And this is what a typical day in the art garden looks like. So what we did is we didn't really know what we were doing, so we just started building it to see what it was. And in the process of doing this, the art emerged. And then we went to the Maker Faire, and I grabbed an Arduino to see, geez, well, maybe that's something that could be useful. And then we got basically caught the bug of creating little electronics. But we didn't know anything about electronics, so we had to teach ourselves. And so through this process, the studio, well, first we became a studio, Pataphysical Studio, and Stephanie, Dr. Truly joined us. And then many more people started joining us. Just one by one, the friends and the neighbors came in and were added, and we're now just dozens of people. It's probably a dozen regulars, another dozen not so regulars, but who will show up. So that's the origin of Pataphysical Studio and Pataphysical Slot Machine. There are many inspirations behind this particular project. The first one is a man by the name of Alfred Jarry, who in 1896 stumbled upon the streets of Paris, a young poet, wanted to give a shot at creating things that were boiling in his mind, and he created a play called Ubu Roi. And it was a pretty bizarre play. It started as a puppet show, and by the time he brought it to stage, it caused riots in the streets of Paris. He used foul language, he changed people's expectations of what theater should be. And in many ways, the modern theater that we know today came out of some of these else. He gave us the science of pataphysics, which he called the science of imaginary solutions. Pataphysics is very difficult to define. My time is short. I'm not going to try to do it, but I encourage you to Google pataphysics and just dive right in. In any case, it captured our imagination, and this is how we became the pataphysics student. This is actually a pretty good book, if you Pataphysics, the Useless Guide. The second inspiration was Burning Man. Many of us were lured by the magic of this burning artifice, and for about a decade we went almost every year to create very large exhibits, 24-foot tall towers, and all sorts of different things. And one of our fondest collaborative artwork is Huracan, the god of fierce winds, which was an art card that we've used almost every year since, and it's got the head of a Mayan god. And this is Dr. Reilly, on an adventure deep into the playa. This is the Queen of the Desert, who, when she gets inside Huracan, becomes transformed, becomes a goddess herself. And I'll leave Burning Man there, and I'll move on to a third inspiration, which is the maker movement, which I'm sure you've all heard about. But around the world, millions of people are doing the things that we do at the studio. They're making robots, they're coming up with 3D printers, they're learning soldering, and there's lovely art is emerging out of that. And some people are creating wearable art, and it's just a whole new way of combining the digital world and the physical world. For the past couple decades, I worked in the digital world exclusively, whether it was Wikipedia or Shockwave.com or my work at Apple. And it feels a little bit strange to be primarily in the digital world. And so we felt the urge to bring things back into the physical world where we all live and try to find the intersection between the two. And that's been a very healthy process for us, and we hope that the maker movement will continue to grow and lead to what we call the art maker movement. So don't just make technology for the sake of it. Try, whenever possible, to combine the art with the technology. And so I'm going to leave you with my personal story of an art maker. This man is Ibi Anam. He lives in Bali. He's a well-known mask maker. And I visited him a couple of years ago, and I told him what we were doing, and I said, hey, would you like to do something cool with us? I've got this idea. Why don't we do a Bali cuckoo clock? And he thought about it and said, well, Bali cuckoo clock, I've never heard of that before. But he said, sure, yeah, I'll do it. We'll try it. So we created this Balinese cuckoo clock, and I'm going to play a little video to show you how it works. The temple doors open. The eagle god Garuda steps out of the temple, flaps his wings, shakes his head, and says, Om Swastiastu, which means God bless Balinese. And then, having inspired you so, he retreats back into his little temple and will await your call should you want to see him again. So, it took me a year and a half to do the electronics for that thing. I went crazy. I just, insane. Thank you. It was, so first there was like no way to get we have a very little room in the back of the slot machine, so we ended up having to use a measuring tape to convert circular motion from a motor into linear motion because we didn't have enough room to backtrack and drift. Anyway, we did all sorts of things. I had to make diagrams, I had to write software, it made my head hurt. I thought I was too old to code. What was I doing? It wasn't that silly to do this. Couldn't I do something more useful? But I just, my colleagues, the paraphysicians, encouraged me. And I went, and then we had to connect all the boxes together so they could play sounds. More diagrams, more software, more head hurting. Ouch! Fortunately, feel good, make you feel appreciated, and say, yeah, sure, you should finish the Balinese Ku Klux. The world needs a Balinese Ku Klux. And this, by the way, is Dr. Igor Donald Day, who some of you may know in the art and technology scene, and he has taught us so much because we knew nothing about all this electronic stuff, and so we're very grateful to him. It's not just laughter, it's also knowledge. Which leads us to the final chapter, Invent to Learn. I'm borrowing the title of a book by Silvia Martinez, about the incredible potential of this art maker movement in education. Along with the exhibits, we thought we'd give a try to maybe teach a workshop or two and see if we could actually pass on some of the things that we'd learned to kids and adults. This is a workshop with kids, 8 to 12-year-olds. We taught the Make Your Own Wonder Box workshop, and we had a little Halloween wonder box that they could create. And we taught systematically how to light up the skull eyes, how to make the spiral spin, how to make the spider talk, blah, blah, blah. And lo and behold, and I love that the parents got involved too. That was really, really cool to get the parents and the kids to work together. And here's a little video of what they did. We piled up all their wonder boxes together at the end.
Oh, that is beautiful, you guys. I love it.
My name is Mac. I'm age 9, and this is my box starring Professor P. Cryfly. And he's in his workroom with his pet creepy spider, his fire plants, his dice, and his picture frames and stuff on the wall.
Nicely done, man. Really good.
Only 2 hours.
Okay, who's gonna be next?
My name is Sophie. I'm 11. That's my box, and I just put a spider on the wall, and yeah, I didn't have time to do much, but we did.
All right, nicely done, Sophie.
I'm going to leave it there, but you basically get the idea. The kids picked it up really quickly. The parents picked it up pretty quickly too. We had the lovely Dr. Figurine as the co-instructor, as well as Dr. Kadard as co-instructor as well. And so having a diverse group of instructors, some of them who could feel their pain, was very helpful. And it was very encouraging. Everybody wanted another workshop. So what we're going to be doing, and I'll tell you more about that in a moment, is teach a lot more workshops in the next 6 months, because it's just an incredible opportunity, particularly at that age, ages 6 to 12. We also taught an Arduino workshop. I'll spare you the details, but we enabled adults who didn't think they could do it to complete it. And basically the whole concept of this thing is that you can bring different age groups together. They can learn from each other. Dr. Kadar is an excellent solderer, better than I'll ever be at soldering. So whenever there's some soldering to be done, I could go to her, she could come to me if she needs help with motors. So the potential of this is really great. And we had a blast. We've learned a lot. And we hope that others can too. And we encourage you to do the same in your own neighborhood if you can. Start an art club, a maker art club, or join an art club if there's one already. Muck around, trust yourself, you can do it. Nothing's impossible if you just set your mind to it. And most importantly, follow your voice. That's what we did. So yeah, make art. And now do we have any questions?